There we go. What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. This is United vs. Everybody. This is the Wednesday Kickabout. We are chilling with my co-host, Dylan. Dylan, how are you doing, man?
Doing well, man. Enjoying that heat, like always.
Yeah, geez. It's Michigan,
Yeah,
dude. It's freaking...
right.
It was rough today, man. It was not fun, but
Yeah.
we are back. Obviously, Dylan was just here the other day, kind of an impromptu kickabout, and quite frankly, not been a whole lot of news going on since, except for today. Today, we got a little bit of a deluge of all sorts of little rumors. It was constant updates regarding strikers, Sesko, Watkins. United want this guy wants United this much. We're going to talk about it all. I got slides upon slides. It's like a 6th grade project out here. It just slides everywhere you look, man. It's freaking no cool transitions though. No explosions, no Getty images, watermarks. It's not that cool. We'll get there. You guys know what I'm talking about. But we are doing all that today. Going to talk a little about that with Dylan's help and obviously with your guys' help. Got a little bit more of an interactive show planned for you guys later on, so we'll be doing that as well. But like the video, please subscribe to the channel if you're new. Check those memberships out too. You know, Legends memberships do allow you to join in for parts of these weekly kickabouts. You can jump in, get your thoughts on some of the topics shared, jump in on screen if you want. If I see any sort of, like, I have a separate screen that lets me see what happens before I put it live. So if I see anybody jumping on like this is some sort of crazy porn site, then you're getting banned. So needless to say, your dong will not make it to YouTube. So sorry. I'm sure it's
And you're demonetized.
but it's not going to happen. Right. So we're doing all that today, you guys. Make sure you like and subscribe. And right now, too, if you guys couldn't see the pinned chat in the comments, it is 20% off everything in the United vs. Everybody online store. There is a link down there. 20% off everything. I think it's for the next 5 days. I just saw that was going live, so I went and got myself a Class of 92 hoodie. I'll wear that one when it gets here for you guys can see that one. I do like that one. You can get the new Mbumo shirt. You can get the OG green and gold. Not this green and gold. This is my green and gold, but you can get the green and gold. So there's a link pinned in the chat. So get involved. Of course, let me dive in and see what everyone is doing in the chat. We got so many chats going so far. Lucky saying big up. Lucky says Erasmus Hoyland. Get gone. Okay, players, see you later. Yes, I did put a poll in the chat if you guys want as we keep going. Oddly enough, it's pretty big Sesko, but some people are voting for Hoyland for Golden Boot. So interesting.
in the Bundesliga?
I mean, we'll see. There's one of the rumors. We're going to talk about it. Temesgen, welcome back. I like Sesko, Baleba, Hillman, Donnarumma, or Emi Martinez for next season. Yeah, it's a lot of good names out there. Baleba is, I think, a bit of a pipe dream right now, unless you want to drop at least 85 million. But Danny B in the house. Good to see you again, my friend. Hope you guys are doing well, rocking the green and gold hearts, as always. It's a lot of green and gold going on right here. I've got this little guy up here. I've got this thing back here. It's freaking everywhere. Danny says, I would prefer to buy a mid or two and take a cheap gamble on a Rocadere, come back to the striker situation next summer. I'm kind of in that same boat, unless it was like a swap, like 50 million goes towards Villa's way for Watkins, 50 million comes our way for Garnacho. I think that would be the only other thing that maybe I would be a little bit more open to, but we'll talk about all that. Big up, everybody, though. Big up, Box. Welcome back, Box. Good to see you again. Welcome back. Box says, bring Sesko in. Get involved in the votes. We're going to go through. Remember the other night when we had 98 people voting? You guys were too shy from being gifted memberships. I'm a man of my word, though. So I'm sorry that we didn't get them, but it's like raising a kid. You can't concede. You got to stick to your guns. Rob, always United. Welcome back, Rob. Yes. Hi, everyone. Hope everyone's doing well. Box says, anyone prefer Lemans to Donnarumma? I prefer Lemans to Donnarumma. Personally, I don't think... I think a lot of this is Donnarumma definitely trying to get a new contract, tough and trying to get a wage hike. What were you saying?
That's how I feel it is. It's just his agent putting the name out there. Oh, United, because we get, as we've talked about in here, we get linked with everybody. And, if you don't sign him, United's going to get him. No, Lamens is the better choice, younger, cheaper, and we can build around him a little bit more.
I just don't think Donnarumma's been that great personally. Now, before the whole Chevalier situation, I definitely was like, this is 100% agent talk. And then PSG turned around and pretty much signed Chevalier. And now I'm like, what this tells me is that Donnarumma wanted more money. PSG didn't want to pay him more money, so they went and got a cheaper keeper. That rhymes.
Mm-hmm.
And now they're stuck with Donnarumma, and they're going to have to, now they're in this situation where people know that they have this keeper doesn't like he could probably be got for less than what he's probably worth. I don't really like him that much, but Red Times, welcome back. I like it when people spell things with a Z at the end. It makes me feel cool just to say it out loud. What was a bug in here? Rank Baleba, Hillman, Stiller, Ederson in terms of defensive ability, press resistance, and those are three separate metrics. I mean, I don't have to rank them. I can just bring up the percentiles and we can see it. But we'll talk about that a little bit later. We'll talk about midfielders. We're going to talk a lot about strikers so far. So everybody, make sure you're liking the video. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel. And let's get going. Let's talk about some striker news because we got some. It's been like a whole crazy sequence of events going on today in terms of striker updates. Watkins, Sesko, all of it's going on. It's been insane. One it's literally changing like every hour. There's been a new update.
Mm-hmm.
This was the first thing that popped up today. Ollie Watkins very open to joining United. Sources close to Aston Villa. So again, you guys know how I feel about sources close to Aston Villa. Hint that an offer of £50 million.
Is it Samuel Butthurst?
Nah, gosh, I can't handle that guy sometimes. £50 million may stand a chance, especially if he pushes for the move. So basically what he's saying is going back to the 60 million that was reported a little while ago. But now he's basically saying someone on Villa let him know that, if Watkins pushes the move, it could probably get done for cheaper. So I don't know if it makes me sound like stuck up or stubborn or elitist or whatever, but I still even think 50 million is too much for Ollie Watkins. What do you say?
Yeah, I'd agree with that. Sanjay, welcome.
Sanjay. He's an
Sanjay's
answer.
having a good time. If you're looking at the chat, Sanjay's having a great time right now.
He's having a great time.
But
That's
yeah,
funny.
50 million is too much. And the big thing just for me is injuries have started to pick up for Ollie Watkins. We saw him be out a fair amount last year. We already have our injury issues. I'm sure Mason Mount's going to go on the get injured at some point this season, and some of the other guys, Luke Shaw, will probably pick some of them. We don't need any more of those problems. So somebody that can be fit, can be part of the first team. I just don't see Ollie Watkins. I mean, I rate him. I think he's a good player. I just don't see him fitting as well. So,
yeah, I go back and forth. It's like I can sit here and say like I think 50 million is too much because I do think 50 million is too much. I think 50 million is too much for Sesko though too because I just don't. And it's not because I don't think Watkins is good. I think he is good. I think he would be a good person for young strikers to learn from. I think he scores goals. He's done it in the league. I get that. I don't think he's worth 50, 60 million pounds. I just don't. Again, unless it's like a swap for Garnacho, I think we need to, if Watkins is the guy we're looking at, we need to drive that price down, or we need to hurry up and pivot and go someplace else because there's not much time left. And I want to get some business done. I don't want to be sitting here August 31st scrambling on deadline day to get another Fellaini kind of a thing. And I think if we can't get the price drive down, I think Danny said something earlier, like maybe pivot to the midfield because we've seen for years now this gaping hole in midfield. It seems like that is a bit more of a priority, especially now with Cunha and Mbeumo. I don't know. I did that poll. I did a poll yesterday, and most people voted for a Watkins Garnacho swap out of the possibilities that I put up there. So, what were you saying?
I was just going to say, it does feel like, and this is just me, a lot of the media is pushing striker, and I'm like, that might not be the best thing here.
Yeah.
Maybe we just don't have a striker. We keep Højlund, we keep Xerxes, and focus on the midfield. That seems to be the more proactive sort of thing.
I wouldn't be surprised to see like no striker, honestly, unless we could get the price driven down. We've seen Ineos have kind of come in and been a little bit more negotiating with this kind of stuff. They're not just going to, eventually we did pay a bit. I think that we were always going to pay. We were ready to pay that much for Mbeumo. I think obviously we just go into the lower price. That's how you do it. That's just the way it is. But like buying a house. I saw Matt Law in the Telegraph. He says that if United want if United only put in a 40 to 45 million bid for Watkins, and what Matt Law thinks is that that means we don't actually want him. We're not serious about it. But I just don't. He says we're not serious if we think that Watkins is worth 30 million pounds less than Mbeumo. And so he's in the past he says we've spent big on Mbeumo, but then he urges us to do the same for Watkins. I don't know. That sounds a little bit like English player bias to me from Matt Law. If calling Mbeumo like spending big, but saying that we need to spend more for Watkins because he's worth the same, it just seems weird to me. Sanjay's out in Amsterdam. The only time I've been in Amsterdam is at the airport on my connecting flight to and from Manchester.
Same.
So I did run into Manny Vidic though the last time I was at the Amsterdam airport. So there's that. So the Amsterdam airport gets 5 stars on Yelp for me just for that. So big up. Watkins says, or Box says Watkins is past his peak. There's a freaking like gnat in here, and I'm gonna end up punching myself in the face trying to hit this thing and it's flying by me. So if I punch myself in the face and just fall over, then like Dylan, you're in charge. Passes. Do you think Watkins is past his peak?
Maybe just a little bit. This season will be telling just to see because last year injuries caught him. He had some issues with Unai Emery. Rashford comes in and pretty much took his spot, and you could tell Ollie wasn't very happy about that. Um, and they kind of lost a little bit of the mojo as they transitioned to Rashford. Um, and they picked it back up, but then when he got hurt, Ollie kind of came back in. They lost a little bit of it, so
Yeah.
it's going to be very telling at the beginning of the season to see what happens. Is he going to have the same issues he was having? Are they going to be on the same page? Is he going to have issues with Emery? Overall, I think he's starting to decline, and I think he might have another season or two in him. But I wouldn't, me personally, I wouldn't pay 40 or 50 for him. That's
Yeah.
just me. So.
Yeah, I'm not. I mean, I've seen a lot of people compare it to like Robin van Persie paying, at that time, a big fee for a 29-year-old. But I'm like, when you say like Robin van Persie, like full stop, that's the comparison's done for me because there's no comparison there.
Yeah.
Comparing this
Well,
Ollie
and
Watkins to
and
that RVP is just there's nothing there to compare.
yeah, and RVP played what 5 years after or 4 years after at a relatively high level. I mean, granted it was Turkey, but he still showed up in
Yeah,
in the big
he,
moments. So
the injury started to get to him when Van Gaal got here, and
yeah,
then Van Gaal just didn't rate him. He went back to Feyenoord. He went to Fenerbahce, went back to Feyenoord for a minute. He's actually doing much better at Feyenoord than he was in Fenerbahce. Didn't he score
okay,
against us when we played Fenerbahce?
yep,
If I remember correctly.
yep.
So, and now I think he's coaching, I want to say Groningen or Grasshopper Club, one of those Dutch clubs. I don't remember off the top of my head. But yeah, big up RVP. But yeah, the RVP comparisons were just, and it's the same as the Emmy Martinez to Van der Sar comparisons. I'm just like, come on, like, what are we doing here? Is this what we're at? Like, I get that people they get entrenched in their own opinions. I get it. It's hard for people to change their minds about stuff. I don't know why that is. Maybe it's just human nature, I guess. But I'm like, come on, people who are saying Emmy Martinez, Van der Sar, like, oh, keepers can do this into their 30s. Ollie Watkins, RVP, 29-year-old striker. I'm like, dude, come on. Like, what are you doing? I feel like people are going to think I'm having a stroke or something because I'm trying to hit this freaking fly. They're going to be like, all right, Sean's seeing ghosts or some crap. Let me get caught up in this chat here. Agile says, I'm quite upbeat if we get Sesko. I would have wanted Watkins, but can't pay 60 mil for him at 30. And yeah, I mean, we can look at Sesko. He's 22, right? But the question is not about age at that point for me. It's about quality. You're paying a lot for potential there for someone when we haven't had the best of luck with German Bundesliga players over the years in terms of attacking talent. So I worry a little bit about that. We haven't seen that prowess in the Bundesliga
Sancho.
translate. Yeah, exactly. We haven't seen it translate to the Premier League. And so anyone who's going to jump in the chat and say, what about Holland? What about Holland? Again, you're getting right back into that old argument. You can't use the outlier freak of nature player as your basis of an argument. That's just a fallacy. You have to it just doesn't work out. So, but we'll see. Marmouche is promising so far. So maybe it's just a city thing, but it is what it is, man. Red Time says, in a perfect world, Newcastle have Cunha, Sesko, and Mbumo, but sadly, it's not a perfect world. I remember in a perfect world last year, they would have had European football too, but we fucked that out of them, didn't we? That's what
great.
happens when you win the FA Cup, unless you're Palace, apparently. Ooh, too soon?
Yeah.
Palace, I feel bad for them a little bit. Just a little bit, though, not a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Agile says, if I can find bet one on one of the bookies here, I'll put Hoyland to win the Golden Shoe in Europe. It'll be cheap. The payout should be huge. Yeah, I did put that poll in. You guys get involved in what you guys want to do. I don't know why I put Hoyland for the win and the Golden Boot. And I just sometimes the fact that you can get a fourth option and I don't really have one ready to go. I just put a random one in there to see who's on one tonight, basically. Rob says, did you visit a coffee shop, Sean, in Amsterdam? I never even left the airport. Like you and I were talking about, Dylan, if we had a layover in Amsterdam and it was a lengthy layover, I might have like thrown our stuff in the locker, grabbed an Uber to go to the Johan Cruyff and take some photos and walk around and then shoot back over to the airport real quick, because that would be the only thing that I'd be willing to do. I don't know how close it is to the airport though, but no, I haven't. I didn't leave the airport. The airport's confusing in Amsterdam too, by the way, because you can see the gate, but they don't. There's a big glass wall, and that glass wall is actually a door, and it doesn't open until like a half hour before your flight. So I'm like, I get there the first time, and I'm like pressed up against the glass, and I'm like, it's so close. I'm like, what is happening? I'm like, is there a puzzle I'm supposed to solve? Are there riddles? Like, is there a genie somewhere? How, like, I don't need to solve the Da Vinci Code to go sit and wait for my flight. It's very confusing. So, and finally I asked someone, they're like, oh, it doesn't open right until this certain time. I'm like, well, fuck me, right? Whatever. Cool. So, yeah, Danny's RVP was at a higher level than me. I think he was at a high level of Watkins. So you get to experience that, Dylan, what traveling with Sean's all about, because it's not boring. I'll tell you that much. You getting excited, man? Is it sunk in yet?
It sinks in at different times.
Yeah.
When we're talking about it, like here and I'm watching soccer, I'm like, I'm going to be there soon.
Yeah.
But just the overall the life things going on, you get bogged down in that. So
Hit the
when
buzzer, everybody.
November, gosh.
You're American.
All right, I show my Americanism there. So
yeah, now you're good.
Okay, remember when we're over there, I'm Canadian. So
yeah, there you go. No, you're Danish, right? That's the way.
That's right.
Yeah, man, I'm excited for you. I think it'll be fun.
That'll be fun.
It's going to be good times. So, Box, the Van der Sar Martinez comparisons. It's just whenever you talk about a keeper in their 30s, everyone always just says, well, Van der Sar. And I'm like, what about him? He was one of the best keepers we've ever seen. It doesn't mean every keeper in their 30s is going to be a Van der Sar. I'm so annoyed by this talk. I'm sorry. I'm not going to try to be angry. So anyway, he's
not upset at all, guys.
I'm not. Some things I'm just like, I don't know. I try not to sound like arrogant or elitist, because I'm not. I don't think I am. Like, even though we have the channel and stuff, it doesn't mean that I know more. I'm just like, that doesn't make any sense. Your argument is dumb, and so are you for saying it. I'm just like, come on. All right, we're moving on. I'm kidding, of course. So this is what David Ornstein had to say about Watkins today. He says, Watkins has admirers at the club, but Villa told United early in the window he's not for sale and are adamant he is staying. United hierarchy are reluctant to pay what they thought it would may have taken for Villa to consider doing business. It doesn't seem like Villa want to sell. So it's obviously nobody wants to sell their best player. I mean, Villa are already strapped. The problem is too, like, Watkins, they had Watkins. They kept bringing in attackers in January. Then they bring in like 3 attackers in January, and some of them were getting starts ahead of him. Like, what does that tell you about how Villa even rate this guy? I saw today that I think it was Sasha Tovalieri, is that his name? One of the journos. He claims that he reports that Villa are actually looking at Lois Openda, RB Leipzig striker, very similar profile to Watkins, very pacey. Like Rashford, basically lives offside, does not know how to stay onside. I don't know if he knows what the offside law is personally, Openda. If you guys ever watch Leipzig, it's just horrible. But is that, a sign of a Watkins replacement? Are they just trying to strengthen? I think Openda is one of those players who could kind of play in a Rashford role, maybe start a little wider, utilize the pace. I don't know. Maybe they're banking on an influx of cash because they're strapped and they know that maybe they're getting something. Do you watch Leipzig at all?
No, I haven't really watched much German football. See, I said it right. Um, but I kind of looked into him a little bit just to see who else was out there that had some transfer rumblings about them. He kind of fits the Villa profile. I just feel like this is all just conjecture. They're just trying to get the name out there, trying to see if
Mm,
anybody will, or mostly us, but if people will bid high, try to get Watkins out. Because, like you were saying, it has to be bad blood there between Unai, between the club, between Ollie Watkins for, they bring the attackers in Asensio, Rashford, I don't remember who the other one was.
they got they
And
got
they all
Donny
play ahead of him.
Mallon,
And
they got
that's,
Asensio, they got Rashford.
so,
They still have
yes.
Bailey too, I think, if I remember correctly. Um,
Yes, because Duran went to Saudi. So
and then the other
yeah, I just
Diaby.
I have to think he's probably pretty upset. Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
Justin's in the house. Big up, Justin. Justin always gets one of
what's up,
those when he
Justin?
pops in. Justin is I mean, when Justin and I went to Manchester the first time, we pretty much spent the whole flight watching episodes of Boondocks. Basically, one episode of Boondocks, and it was literally the red eye, and he and I are the only ones awake, just dying laughing. I could feel everyone's eyes on us, just wanting to kill us because we were probably laughing so hard, but it was a good flight. um, Box has a lot of different Villa sources tonight talking to the press. It seems, yeah, it's again, we're kind of going through a little bit of the news that's been popping up today about all this to see what you guys' thoughts are. Get involved in that poll. Let me know what you guys think. So far, it's literally Sesko in a landslide. About Sanjay says that Johan Cruyff is only 15 minutes away from the airport. Interesting. Well, I think
It's
our
good
I
to
think our
know.
layover is Atlanta this time, right?
Atlanta's the first one, and then the way back is Paris, I think.
Oh, ooh la
So,
la! All right, bust out my Duolingo here. Start chatting to people at Paris.
hey,
Um,
I'm going to speak Danish in Paris, so
you're
just
gonna
go.
learn some Danish. Nice. You got
Yeah.
to perfect like the Christian Eriksen facial expression for when you're there. Just like that
hmm
look. Like he looks like yeah, like he's always just like waiting for somebody to speak. Like that's the look they do. Get the eyes
I mean,
wider.
I do that now, so it's perfect. Like,
um, Catu, welcome back, Catu. I've been choosing a different option in all these Watkins Shesko polls every time. I'm happy with both. That's funny. Well, welcome back. It just means you're human. I mean, we're indecisive, so it is what it is. Rajat, welcome back, Rajat. Hope you're doing well. Good to see you. Yeah, I think. Yeah, Box reminds me. I think Duran already left the Saudi league because that's what people do now. They
okay.
go there for 6 months, get 6 months wages, which is like 5 years of their normal wage, and then they just dip out. Unless you're like Oscar, who went to the Chinese Super League and spent like 1,000 years there because apparently he loves Chinese food. I don't know. I like Chinese food, but big up Box. Yeah, I forgot that Duran already left. Where did he end up going? What to? Was it like I want to say it was like wasn't he like Fenerbahce or something?
It
I
sounds
don't know.
right, but I don't know off the top of my head.
Remember when we were
All right.
linked to him?
Have to look this up now.
We were linked to him when he was still playing in the MLS, and then he
hmm
went to Aston Villa. So it is what it is. Um, just getting something here.
Fenerbahce he went to, yep.
Yeah, that's what I figured.
Yeah.
That's what I figured. All right. Well, yes, hit that like button. All right. Moving on here because we're talking about Watkins. We've spent the last week basically talking about Watkins, but then we've also spent the last week talking about the other side of that coin, and that is Benjamin Sesko. Because Romano had a couple of things to say again as well today. Manchester United wants Sesko. Concrete conversations between that was a horrible Fabrizio Romano impression. I'm never gonna do that again. The only time I feel like the only thing I do is usually I'll go Stones, and then it's just so everybody. If everybody could just forget the last 10 seconds of their life for a second, that would be awesome. I'm just gonna redeem. Just forget it. Just forget it. I had something in my throat. Manchester United wants Sesko. Concrete conversations between United and RB Leipzig started in the last 48 hours. Face-to-face meeting to take place soon. So according to Fabrizio, United want Sesko. Y'all want Sesko in the chat here. I don't really want to have to keep doing videos comparing these two players. Honestly, we've done them to death. I did that big video last week doing that, so go check that out if you want a deep dive on that personally. It's just I don't want to keep talking about it personally. There's so much. Big up, Gary. Good to see you again, my friend. Hope you're doing well. Oh, we got another here. H, welcome, H. Predictions for tonight. We're going to talk a little bit about that later on at the end of the show. Come back for that one. Gary says this is a done deal 100%. So Gary thinks it's going to be Sesko for sure. Jan Fortov seems to think that Sesko has chosen United above Newcastle. So again,
can you say that one more time?
Yanag Fjortov. Yanag Fjortov. I got it right that time.
I think so. Yeah.
Sesko has chosen United.
No, it's just a hard name. So
right. It looks like I just had a seizure while I was typing, and when I look at my notes, like it looks like just fake typing. I don't know how reliable old Jan Fjortov is these days. I don't know. And you guys let me know if he's a reliable source of information. Craig Hope with the Daily Mail claims that even Newcastle now believe that Sesko is going to United, and they've already kind of pivoted to Vissa or Fulham striker Muniz. So it seems like yet again Newcastle have conceded victory to us when it comes to a transfer target. Weren't they in for Cunha and Mbeumo too, if I remember correctly? Dylan.
They were linked a little bit.
Well,
that is the proper way to say it in European.
Word salad name, says Gary. That's funny. Oh, Danny's slandering the good name of Tesco again. I don't know about Tesco. Hope he proves me wrong if we get him. You guys know I wouldn't. I'll always back every player. It doesn't matter if we sign him or if I don't like him. If he's here and he tries, then he gets my backing. Like, as long as you play for the badge, you play for the fans, you give it your all. You're not pulling out of challenges. You're not dropping your head. You're not throwing temper tantrums and whatnot. You're not giving interviews with Henry and Winter. I'll back you. I'll celebrate when you score. I'll criticize you when you could have done better. It's just the way I am with everyone. It is what it is. I think you probably the same way, Dylan.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean that's all we can do, right? Who would you take right now, Dylan? If I had to make you choose right now, Watkins or Sesko?
As long as we can get him for a good price, Sesko. I just don't want to overpay, and not that I don't think he can back it up. I think there's definitely I definitely think he has the ability, if properly harnessed, he could definitely do it. But we can't pay $70 million. Like, we got to try to work that down. Swap deal in there, maybe. We'll see.
Yeah, I'm not too happy with that. Agile, didn't that Woltemade kid go to Bayern? I thought he went to Bayern. Somebody let me know if he did or not. I can't remember now. I remember we were linked to that kid like 2 months ago. H is worried with Sesko. He may turn out as another Hoyland Antony player, good in the other leagues, and then find it difficult in the Premier League. Yeah, and then we said that a little earlier too, right? That's my concern, because we haven't had good luck with Bundesliga players translating to this club. What's his face? Kagawa didn't exactly pull up trees when he was here. Mkhitaryan, he was good. I just don't think he was as good. I mean, these are Bundesliga player of the year too that we bought, both Kagawa and Mkhitaryan as well. Obviously, Sancho as well did not work out for us too well. De Ligt and Mazraoui doing pretty well, so we'll do that. It just seems to be that front end of the pitch that they just struggle. Sancho is just the drop off in Sancho from the Dortmund to United form was just embarrassing, like shocking. Let's see. So Rajat says Jan-Jorge Fjortov is actually knowledgeable with news regarding the Bundesliga. I could have sworn I thought he was like just a Bayern kind of guy. Maybe that's Christian Falk I'm thinking of, though. It's hard to keep all these journos straight in my mind. I should make a list, but let's see. Samuel says hopefully Rasmus Højlund to join RB Leipzig. Yeah, and I saw that to do today as well. That maybe that Leipzig like Højlund, maybe and United have reportedly offered something in return, a player in return to Leipzig for Sesko. That was coming from Fabrizio Romano as well. But reportedly also Højlund wants to stay United. So thanks for screwing that up for us, Højlund. Way to go. Would you want him to go? Would you get rid of him if you could get Sesko for a lower price?
I think it would be beneficial for him. Um,
He would
get his
start, right?
confidence back up. Oh yeah, 100%. He's going to start.
Yeah.
Get his confidence back up. Get work on some of those mechanics, some of those striker um, musts that he kind of has lost a little bit. He looked like we mentioned, I think Monday or last week. He looked must have been Monday. He looked a little better in the friendly, but he still needs to work on that. And I think the Bundesliga would suit him to do that. So maybe a few years down the line, he can try to get another big deal. Um, but I don't. I think he's going to want to prove himself, and I think we're going to hang on to him for another year at least.
I think even just to get out of the United spotlight for a year could be good for him as well.
Mm-hmm.
Just it's a lot of pressure, and to be fair to him, it's a lot of pressure that he shouldn't have had in terms of being our only striker at
Yeah.
a 20-year-old.
Yep.
Like that was we didn't do him any favors whatsoever there. So I still think we should get Jamie Vardy in as a striker coach to help him out, but I'm just
Mm-hmm.
alone in that
I'd be
apparently. But
okay with that.
Gary says whatever said about
I'm
Shesko
supporting you,
speaks
Sean.
ahead of Hoyland. Nice, thank you, Dylan. Awesome. Danny throwing out the funness. Can you imagine Shesko comes in, Rasmus stays and outscores him? Yikes. That would be embarrassing.
Mm-hmm.
That reminds me of the whole Luke Shaw performs when we buy a left back scenario. Like Rasmus is going to perform when we buy another
Yep.
striker scenario. You remember when we got Alex Tellez and then Shaw just magically turned up
Mm-hmm.
all of a sudden? Like, what is that? That makes me mad. Box says 70 million got Ekitike. That's the price he did. Whoever is in charge of that transfer for Liverpool. I seriously doubt their decision making and their discernment. That's a horrible, horrible price. Personally, that's ridiculous. I'm getting caught up here. Hold on a second.
Mm-hmm.
Skeptical Hippo. I like the name. Welcome to the channel. Kicking De Gea out of
Right.
the club for free to spend 57 million on Onana. Ten Hag needs to be arrested for his crimes. Well, keep in mind, Ten Hag may have wanted Onana, but he didn't decide on the fee. That was entirely up to the people negotiating at the club. So I will criticize Ten Hag for his talent identification or lack thereof. I can't criticize managers for wages or transfer fees. That's entirely on directors of football, or in our case back then, guys like Arnold, Murtaugh, these guys. So it ain't FC 25. Managers don't get to choose that. But I hear you. His talent ID was in the freaking gutter. Samuel, speaking my language, trying to get on my good graces here. United should bid for Hayden Hackney, Morton Yeoman. Well, we're going to be talking about those guys soon, so keep in mind, keep your thoughts back there. So, just getting caught up here. Box says everyone leaving Ten Hag now. He's joined Ta, Verts, Frimpong, Xhaka, Kusuno, Kovar. Yeah, I think some of those guys were probably already on their way out, though. I think that like Ta was probably on his way out. He was coming up to the end of his contract and stuff. So, but no, it is a little interesting. I mean, it gives him some money to work with. So, I mean, he gets backed a little bit. He's already gotten a couple players over there. I mean, they picked up Malik Tillman at Leverkusen. You guys know I like him a lot. Did really well for the men's national team in the Gold Cup. Sadly, we lost that final. They got a new keeper for him. I forget who else they got, but Box says Ten Hag will flop. Oh man. Well, let's see. Let's see. I mean, Leverkusen's not United. How do you think Ten Hag's going to do it, Leverkusen, Dylan?
He'll probably be top seven, top eight. I get the feeling it's going to be a transitional period for him. It's not going to be anything like
Mm.
Xavi had, but so they'll take a step back, but I still think they'll be top 10 pushing for European places. So
Yeah, I mean, you have to
just based on who they are.
in the Bundesliga too. I mean, it's the
Yeah.
Bundesliga. Let's be honest. It's like going to like the French league. Like let's be honest. You got a good chance of getting in the top four in the French league. Let's keep it real.
Mm.
Um, so Ornstein and Laura Whitwell have also kind of piggybacked and said United have made the decision to sign Shesko over Ollie Watkins this summer. So basically, these guys coming out all day and basically contradicting themselves left and right on all this kind of stuff. Here's what if I zoom out the lens a little bit, if I'm looking at the parade and I'm on the street and I say, hold on, let me run up to the roof and I can see the whole thing. This is how I'm looking at this real quick. I'm getting a different perspective. I'm looking at it. United are interested in both. Villa didn't want to sell. Unless Watkins did something, we weren't going to pay that much. We do look for Sesko. Christopher Vivell likes Sesko. We've been scouting Sesko for a while. We're paying a lot for potential, but it seems like they're really banking on him basically being here for a while, basically. And so the Watkins thing, we had a price. Doesn't seem like Villa's going to do that. We're pivoting to Leipzig, but that's just I basically just recapped everything we just said. So £64 million plus add-ons and a percentage, a sell-on clause, though, is what Ornstein says is going to get this done. Does that seem about right to you? Was that something you're comfortable spending? 64, maybe up to almost 75 million with the add-ons included for Sesko?
No, that's too high for me.
Yeah.
That's not that he's not a good player. He's definitely shown that he can be relatively consistent, but no, that's much too high for a Bundesliga player.
Yeah, I mean,
coming into the Premier League.
The fee that was paid for Ekitike is ridiculous. The fee that is paid for Florian Wirtz, ridiculous. Like, absolutely ridiculous. Frimpong, like, I don't get that because he could have been got for cheaper a year earlier. That just doesn't make sense to me, but whatever. I feel bad. Leverkusen are losing all their players, like someone said earlier. I would go in for someone like Palacios. I would definitely take him at United. He takes a lot of box scores. If they're going on with if they're having a fire sale, let's go get some Palacios going. I like that option.
Yeah.
Danny says too much with sell on too. Yeah, the sell on is what's going to kill it. Personally,
that's the killer. Yep.
Because again, I mean, some people are like, why are you concerned about the finances in the future? You have to be. This is how directors of football work. This is how the recruitment. You have to be looking at finances. We're paying a lot for potential. Will you get that back? You have to include the sell on clause in the future because you're not going to want to take a huge hit if you go to sell Sesko on in 4 or 5 years. We don't want to be in a Sancho situation. And so there's a lot to this. Honestly, I mean, they're very similar price tags to what I'm seeing with Watkins. We saw that, Villa were asking for 60, Sesko 64 million plus add-ons. Very similar price. It's probably about 20 million pounds more than I'd want to pay for either personally. I don't know about you, but I'm just not happy with that.
Yeah.
So Gary says add-ons plus a sell-on. Leipzig need to calm the fuck down. Yeah,
they're
already getting a ton of money from like freaking who they got. Xavi Simons probably going as well.
Oh yeah, he is.
I like Seawald. I would have taken Seawald too. So Openda's going to big up Yorkshire Cowboy. Good to see you again, my friend. Getting involved in the chat. Using the emojis too. Big up, man. Good to see you. J United, welcome back. Hey, I voted Watkins. It's a no-brainer. We can't keep wasting 60, 70 million on strikers that's never played in the Premier League before. Watkins is an instant plug-in. Will pair well with Cunha and Buemo. Again, at the end of the day, I've always said I like Watkins. I just don't want to spend what Villa are asking on him. So it's just a hard one for me because it's just you have to consider the money because we are strapped and we do have other positions that we need to strengthen as well. And Box says that he's on the decline. So you guys think Watkins is on the decline? He's 29. We put up his numbers the other day. I don't want to keep having comparisons, but we'll see. We'll see what happens there. Watkins, Zirkzee, Cheeto as our options, or Sesko, Zirkzee, Cheeto as our options. Are we counting Højlund still? Is this going to be here? I don't know. Maybe if Højlund goes to Leipzig in exchange. So hold on. Yorkshire says, I'm worried about the outs. We're getting deadline day fuckabouts, perhaps. Steven, welcome back. Who cares how much it would cost? We're talking Sesko and Buemo Cunha as our main attack. This is a huge upgrade. I care how much. And everyone's entitled. I care how much they cost. Dylan, when it comes to priorities for you right now, if you look at the context of the club with PSR, with the other positions that we have to, again, with the players we still need to sell, with the sell to buy situation we're always keen to find ourselves in, what is your kind of a hierarchy of considerations when it comes to these kind of decisions? Price, quality, the need for the position in the squad. Like, where would you rank those in your hierarchy when you're going about something like this?
Quality has to be up in the top, but price is right behind it, just with where we're at with PSR situation right now.
Yep.
If we have to look at if they're gonna fit, if they're gonna be good quality first. But then the next thing that's gonna eliminate them is like, can we get them for a price that's not going to, like, even with amortization and everything, is that going to be a problem with PSR? And if it is, that's something we have to take into consideration. Do we still want to do this? Do we have to move money around? Things like that. So,
Yeah, and I think it's going to look different at any level because like Ruben Amorim's going to look at quality and the need in the squad. Fans are going to look at quality and the need in the squad. Director of football owners are going to look at you know ROI, cost, PSR, and then they're also going to look at quality and stuff as well. So I think owners are the only ones, and the directors of football are the only ones who really have to look about price. Now I feel like managers and maybe me as a fan, I look a little more at price because I know that what that does to impact the other stuff we're trying to do. And so it's hard to ignore it because I know
mhm.
that we're limited. And so that does always kind of filter into my decisions. So um, let's see. Jay says Watkins is 29 in his prime. He's got 5 years left, yet gives us up 2 years to find a younger striker instead of gambling on Sesko. Yeah, I agree that Sesko is definitely a big gamble at 70 million. I don't want Sesko for that much. I do again. I like Watkins. I just don't want to spend that much personally. But if we could do a straight swap, Garnacho for Watkins, 50 million going both ways on paper, it helps everybody except for it doesn't help Villa. But I don't care. It's not my club. I don't really care about Villa. So all right, you guys are having a little chit chat on there, so I'm going to keep going here. Do we want to do pros and cons? I feel like we've kind of gone through them all already. I feel like it would be a little redundant to do pros and cons of each one.
It, yeah, and we've talked about both of them
Yeah,
in
dude.
uh, in you have definitely in length over the last few years or few years, yeah, over the few
Feels like
days.
years
So,
by now. Geez.
um,
Um, yeah, if you guys want to throw down your pros and cons for each one in the chat, you go for it. I was going to go through them, but I feel like we've kind of done it to death already. So keep getting involved in the poll. We're going to move on. Guys, make sure you're hitting that like button. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Also, again, if you couldn't see the pinned chat in the comment in the chat, 20% off everything in the United vs. Everybody store right now for the next 5 days. So if you've been on the fence, if you're like, man, that Mbumo shirt, I like it, but I don't need it, it's 20% off right now. So go check it out. There's a
oh
ton of
no,
stuff
everyone get that one.
there.
Not that I have a bias or anything.
I just ordered the class of '92 hoodie for myself when I saw that it was sale. So I've definitely got myself something. So you guys get a better deal than I do. So Bach says all players are a gamble. Dorgu for 30 million is a big gamble. Yeah, all players are a gamble. You never know. But again, that's where it becomes, risk versus reward. What's you have to look at all that. And that's where your recruitment, your data analysts, your scouts are really going to earn their living there. And so we'll see. Just getting caught up here. Steven says, anytime someone wants to bash the owners, I got time for it. Says, we have had terrible owners for too long. And now we've had football people with Ineos taking over the football side. United are aware of the PSR and said they can afford it without sales. Well, Woodward also said we can do things in the transfer market other clubs can only dream of. So we will see what happens. Because then Sir Jim also came out and said this club was about to go bankrupt if he hadn't put money in. So we get conflicting reports here from everybody. So it's hard to know who to trust. Jay says it's the price tag I'm worried about. Sesko might do really well and win Ballon d'Or. I'd back him if he came 100%, but Sesko means we have wasted 70 million on Hoyland when I'd bring in experience to help him. Well, yeah, Hoyland unfortunately was under the old regime, and so it is one of those things
Yeah.
where it's 2 years. We know Omar Barada's got that kind of 2 year. This is how long you have to prove myself. Last year, definitely put Hoyland down in the negative for a lot of people. So it is what it is. Everyone's listing their flops. Wow, I will not have any of this talk right here. Nope, nope, nope. Not having that. How dare you, sir? The Matty Matic is a saint. He is a prince. What is going on? What is happening right now? Oh no. Rajat just on one, man. Matic, there's no way Matic was a flop. I'm definitely not calling Juan Mata a flop. No, 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 no. Not doing that. So all right, so let's pick up a little bit from my short from yesterday because I didn't have time to do stuff yesterday because I had to go pick up my dog from surgery, but I did have time while I was waiting for the appointment to start to go in and upload a short regarding midfielder links. So let me say what you guys. Let me real quick right here. Yorkshire says Rasmus is so bad, I honestly don't care who comes in. Well, be careful not to fall into the trap of thinking that better than Hoyland is the same thing as good enough, because they're not the same thing. So this is what I talked about. Oops, skip that one. This is what I talked about yesterday in that short. Now, I saw this in the BBC. I've seen it pop up a couple different sources as well. I don't know how legit this one is, but like I said, I wanted you guys' thoughts on this. Manchester United apparently have made a bid, according to the BBC, of £35 million for Morten Hjulmand, but Sporting want 50 million euros, which is 42 million pounds, basically 7 million more than what we had. Also been linked to Juventus as well. Again, 35 million pounds, like I said in that short, super cheap for a player of Hjulmand's qualities at the peak of his powers. He knows Amorim. What do you know about Hjulmand, Dylan?
Just little bits and pieces, some snippets that I've watched on YouTube.
Yeah.
He looks good where he positions himself on the field. He looks good knowing where others are. So he knows, just the bits I've seen, it looks like he knows the tactical positions. And he looks like he looks like he wants to be out in the field. He runs through every blade of grass. So again, that's something for us where we haven't had players like that haven't, that have wanted to be out there. We've had the divas for a while. That would be another strong character team signing if this is true. And I really do hope it is, because that's, again, like we were saying, somebody that would help the locker room.
Yeah, no, I 100% agree. I think the caveat there is, if true. And what really makes me kind of question this whole rumor is the last little bit there, also targeted by Juventus. When I see the last little bit kind of snuck in there, it makes me wonder, what is this agent talk? What's going on here?
No.
I love Morten Hjulmand. You guys know I scouted him 2 years ago when he was at Lecce. He knows Amorim very well. Obviously played for him at Sporting. Amorim brought him to Sporting to replace Manuel Ugarte. He really developed him too, because at Lecce, Hjulmand was basically an N'Golo Kante. He was basically just, I'm a defensive midfielder. I'm going to win the ball. Amorim really added a couple strings to his bow, developed his game, made him basically the good, complete, all-around midfielder that he is now. And then as he's gotten older, he's become just a general. He brings a level of control, dominance, but it's like quiet, controlled dominance. It's not like I'm just going to tackle everything. It's just, again, like you're saying, good reading of the game, good positioning. And like you said, most important, he is a leader, and he is captain material, which is what we've been crying out for years. Leaders on the pitch, leaders in the dressing room, people who are gonna not only raise standards of quality on the pitch, but also raise standards of being a professional on and off the pitch as well. So I will file this one in the don't give me hope file.
Let's look at the important thing. As Raja says, he's also Danish, so he has Danish friends.
So that means it's him and Hoyland, right? So cool.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, he'll come in, and then Hoyland will be passing him on the exit door and be like, wait, what? Oh, all right. Danny says Hjulmand is a beast, proper leader too, hitting his prime. Yeah, you're getting him right at like his best years as well. So we'll see what happens with Collier. We got some reports that Collier might be going on loan this season. Still have Ugarte, who Hjulmand replaced at Sporting. If Hjulmand comes in and replaces Ugarte at United too, then I'm Ugarte. I'm probably needing to talk to somebody, because that's messed up. Jay says Hjulmand would be perfect for us. Yeah, I like this kid a lot. Raja, yeah, I've said that De Ligt can definitely. He's one of the other players in the squad right now that I can see being captain in the future as well. So, big up. And Dorgu, yep, don't forget Dorgu's Danish as well. Yep, awesome.
Oh, I did forget about that.
I always did. Fox says Casemiro deserves a big
My bad.
Saudi. If somebody would just come and pay for him from the Saudi league, he could get it, but he's not doing it. So what it is. So Morten Hjulmand, we'll see. Like I said, I put that up yesterday. I don't know how true that is, but again, file it in the Don't Give Me Hope file. Speaking of midfielders, so not to be confused with the Don't Give Me Hope segment, today we have a Don't Make Me Cry segment, and might cry because Ben Jacobs reports today that Ipswich Town have made a 15 million bid for Hayden Hackney, and Middlesbrough have accepted it. I'm gonna need a moment. I'm not crying. You're crying. I have something in both my eyes. Don't worry about it. Um, this is one of the most significant bummers of my day. Now Hackney hasn't been convinced yet. Personal terms don't agree, but apparently Middlesbrough have accepted. In all seriousness, this does feel like a bit of a sideways step for Hayden Hackney personally. But honest to God, 15 million for Hayden Hackney is an absolute snip in this today. What are your thoughts on the Hackney,
Yeah,
Dylan?
it's only 15 million for them. We'd have to pay like 30.
Oh yeah,
So,
for sure. I mean, there's that. Throw him Collier,
um,
man.
yeah, uh, yeah, it does feel a little bit like a sideways step based on how he's done. Yeah, Danny's right. It is a hard one to take, but you know, they're probably doing right for the club, trying to get them some cash to get some funds going, even with the or get going through everything. So I don't know.
This one just doesn't make sense to me. Like he could probably go to a Premier League club and play in the Premier League. I don't get why he would go to Ipswich. I just don't get it. Now, I mean, no offense to anybody who's
Yeah.
a fan of the Tractor Boys. If you're on the channel, cool. But again, 15 million. Now we know how much it's going to take. Now we can throw in Collier, maybe get that down to like 10 million.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but still, if the Hillman stuff is true, I'm still going for Hillman over Hayden Hackney. Unfortunately, I think Hillman is definitely a little bit more ready for made for what we need. It's just too good of a deal to pass up if Hillman is available for that
Come on,
price.
you're giving up too easily. Let's get them both. Worry about PSR later, like Chelsea and City and everybody else are. So
Honestly, you can get both Morton Hillman for these prices. These reported rumored prices for Hillman and Hackney, it would probably cost less than Ederson would cost. Like that's for both. It's insane. Um, Jay says, I love to take Hackney, but Borough fans don't really rate him. They say he needs to improve on ball control, decision making, and more. I mean, Hackney's numbers speak for themselves, in my opinion. He's got some excellent numbers. You guys know I've raved about him for a while. So, but yeah, I mean, Middlesbrough fan, maybe they're just mad because he's leaving. Sometimes that happens with fans when they see a player leaving, all of a sudden they don't rate him anymore. But he was definitely a standout for them last season. If you guys watched any Middlesbrough's matches, this guy was popping up everywhere, getting in price. Roger says, Hillman got pace. He quick or not? I mean, in my opinion, you don't need to be fast necessarily. If you can read the game, if you've got good positioning, like Dylan said, I think that will trump pace 9 times out of 10. Rashford's got pace. Doesn't really do him that well. So it's more about reading the game. It's more about football intelligence, which is where you're going to see positioning, interceptions, stepping in to break up plays before they really start happening and stuff, making those decisive passes, seeing those passes. That's where you're going to really see the difference. Pace is fine. I mean, that just is what it is. But let me see here. Jay likes Hackney a lot. Yeah, I love Hackney. Hackney's one of my top. Gary says, look at the bin dippers with Trent. Exactly my point. Soon as Trent was leaving, and it's so funny. Like they were like, he should have signed a contract so we can get some money for him. Like Liverpool fans have zero room to talk. The way they treated Lars Karius after that Champions League final against Real Madrid was an absolute disgrace. Like an absolute disgrace. Because you've got Liverpool fans who claim Karius got a concussion, which if that's the way you treat him after he got a concussion, then that says more about you than anything. But then you've got fans who they basically hounded him out. He was 21, I think, 21, 22 years old at the time, Lars Karius, stepping in for an injured player, and he's in the Champions League final against probably one of the best Real Madrid sides we've ever seen. And Liverpool fans disgust me sometimes. They really are. It's like the worst. Sorry, I'm going on a bit of a rant here, but it's just ridiculous. But that was funny. What do you feel about that, Dylan? Like when a player kind of makes it clear that they don't want to play anymore. How do you feel about that as a fan, like for your club?
I mean, it hurts. Obviously, you're gonna have that visceral reaction of like, "Screw you," because this is our club. This is who we want to support. But you know, just thinking about how things go on and stuff like that. And I have to do this with the kids all the time, like just trying to plan things out and look at it from different perspectives for them. In the classroom, it's like, well, for him, if he's done what he's wanted to do, and this is the next step, I can follow. I can appreciate that. I don't necessarily agree with everything Trent did. I think he did a little too much with social media. I think he could have been a little more professional with it, but yeah, it's not like it was the end all be all. So
Yeah, watching Jamie Carragher basically sit there and try to whinge and whine and
yeah,
hold back tears because Trent didn't at least sign a new contract so they can get some money, and basically Jamie Carragher solo whipping up the Liverpool fan
yeah,
base into a frenzy with that, like, and respect for Gary Neville saying like, well, where was the club? Why did the club wait this long? Kind of a situation. I feel like we did the same with Ander Herrera. Like, we waited too long
hmm
to try to do anything with
oh,
that, and by then it was too late. And
that
so,
still
like,
hurts.
the club has a role to play. We've seen it with players all the time. We don't maybe extend their contracts when they deserve it. We activate that extra year, and by then the player is already like, well, this is how you feel about me, kind of a thing. You're avoiding paying me what I'm really worth because it's going to save you money, kind of a thing. And it does send a message, and players do pick up on that. So, but yeah, Carragher, he's got to be one of the worst. The guy is so, like, unapologetically, transparently biased. Like, I don't know how he gets on camera. Big up, Rich. Good to see you, man. Hope you're doing well. Well, good to see you, dude. Anybody go check out Rich's channel when you get a second. Gary says they effectively finished Karius' career. They did, and they're all
hmm
just whinging and moaning. Like, I don't know any keeper who would have stopped those Gareth Bale shots. Honestly, like, it's just ridiculous, dude. Um, so. Rich says Isak to stay at Newcastle. Liverpool fans worried, but they've got Ekitike, they've got Wirtz, they've got Frimpong, they've got Kirkes. Like, they're fine, right? Like, how much more money do Liverpool want to spend?
So I was talking to somebody at work today about that, who's an Arsenal fan. So he's a few steps down the pecking order. Um, but we were talking about Liverpool and how much they're spending, and we were trying to figure out how they're affording this. And we're like,
It's the
I told him, it's
Coutinho
like,
money.
yeah, I was telling him, it's like, it feels like they're doing what United did in the mid 2010s. There, it's just like, just buy everybody and just, doesn't work out, screw it, it's fine. So
Yeah, I think people,
yeah,
Liverpool fans will be like, "Well, we didn't buy anybody last year." Well, you did. You bought
yeah,
Chiesa and you bought Mamardashvili. Now, just because Chiesa didn't play because he was shit and Mamardashvili went on loan, you still bought him. And
yeah.
you bought 4 midfielders the summer before. The 2 previous Januaries, you bought Luis Diaz and Cody Gakpo as well. So it's not like Liverpool haven't spent money. So
Yeah.
we'll see what happens. They didn't. I'm trying to think. Did they sell any? They're trying to sell Darwin Nunez, I think. Again,
Nobody wants him.
Liverpool just don't seem to have good luck signing attackers. They
Yeah.
didn't really rate Luis Diaz. They don't really rate Cody Gakpo after a little while. They don't really rate Darwin Nunez, but apparently he runs around a lot. They bought Chiesa, never played him. Like, it just doesn't make sense to me. Again, like, I don't know. You're never going to get money for Mo Salah or Virgil van Dijk when they finally leave. Like, you're not going to get that money back. So we'll see. I think they're just banking on getting a lot of stuff done in the first couple of years and then
Yeah.
kind of giving themselves some breathing room. Jay says nobody wants Watkins. What about Mateta? I'm not sold on Mateta. I think that he's had one half decent season for a 28-year-old. I think that I need to see more from a striker personally. So Carrie says Carragher's a scumbag, shouldn't have a job on TV. I mean, as long as
Great
he's not
point, Gary.
as long as he's not spitting on anybody anymore, he's fine. Rich says Ineos strategy is clearly focused on young players, and I don't have a problem with planning for the future and being patient, but we do need a healthy mix, in my opinion, which is why someone like Yeoman, I think, will be perfect. He ticks
Mhm.
so many boxes for us. Good age, good leader, captain material, raises the standards, good example to set in the dressing room as well. I really like him. So, but yeah, we don't want to do an Arsenal, in my opinion, and just have all young players. Don't want to do a Chelsea, have all young players. We need a healthy mix. Even the class of '92 had a healthy mix of experience with them on
Mhm.
the pitch as well. We can't trust players who are young necessarily because they don't have experience fighting for things. They don't have experience dealing with setbacks. They don't have the resilience yet. They don't have clearly we've seen all these young players not have the ability just to even cope with off pitch stuff, even social media, and act right in that regard too. So we can't have a whole squad of players who were thrown around on Instagram like a bunch of idiot sticks. So Garnacho. Um, Box says Liverpool have made a lot of money: 30 million on Kwanzaa, 50 million on Kelleher, 70 million on Diaz. Yeah, the Diaz stuff that just came out today. That to me makes freaking Bayern look like idiots personally, but
Yeah.
it is what it is. Raja says Jamie Carragher's a professional spitter. F that dude. That's funny. Yeah, Rich. We were talking about Watkins a little bit. The only way that Watkins deal would make sense for me, unless we get that down super cheap, would be an on paper swap with Garnacho, 50 million going both ways. But I don't think that's going to happen. So, um, let's see. Rich says Sesko or Watkins gets us back into Europe, but Sesko more likely to help us medium term. Interesting. I don't know. I don't know if I agree that both of them are guaranteed to get it. I would say that Mbuemo and Cunha are probably more likely to help get us back into Europe before I would say Shesko would personally. Um, but it's not my money, I guess. So, oh boy. So yeah, Hayden Hackney making me cry. I saw a little random piece of something, and this is why I wanted to talk about it. So Sevilla struggling a little bit. A lot of that going around these days, financially struggling. But apparently, Sevilla have 4 consecutive years of reporting losses, which is a big deal. They're like 90 million euros in debt, but apparently now they're open to selling everybody, including somebody that they might not be able to afford to permanently buy. So we did a scouting report, I think, last month on young player Lucien Agume, defensive midfielder, really good passing range, good physical attributes. They have him on loan from Inter. They might not be able to make that permanent. I think tomorrow is a deadline for them to exercise that option. Now, again, we did that scouting report. So he'll go back to Inter if Sevilla can't pay the rest of what they owe. But importantly, it would only take like 20 million if somebody wants to nab Lucien Agume. I'm just saying, Lucien Agume is out there for super cheap if anybody. What? My boy, Knee. What up,
What's up,
Knee?
Nee?
Detroit Red Devil OG, man. Big up Knee, man. Watkins for 45 million. I'm all in. Yeah, if we can get that price down for sure, Knee, but I'm not spending 60 million on Watkins personally. I'm not saying he's bad. That's a lot. But big up Knee. It's been a minute, my dude. You remember Knee, right, Dylan?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, big up, man. Awesome, dude. Um Box says Aroka Derry will get us relegated. Oh, don't let Danny hear you say that, man. Um Gary says Shesko will get us 15 to 20 goals next season easily in all comps because that's what he's been doing the last couple of years. That's a lot of money for someone to rock up with 15 goals in the league. That's a lot, personally, for a striker, too. And to think that he's the answer. I'm not saying Shesko is bad. There are a lot of Bundesliga fans who think Shesko has kind of hit a plateau. He's peaked. And I'm saying we've done the Sesko stuff to death. We did that whole video the other day looking at percentiles, stats, heat maps, profile, strengths, all that stuff. So go check that out too. So, Andreas, welcome back. It's funny listening to Carragher trying to explain how to win Premier League, a man who never won the league himself.
It's a great comment.
Put your medals on the table, as the man once said. Just saying, can you dig it? Yeah, I mean, Rich, he's definitely an upgrade on Hoyland, but again, there's levels to this. Better than Hoyland is not the same thing as good enough, in my opinion. And so, and again, for me, it's about priorities. Is midfielder more important than maybe we need to throw 70 million at a midfielder than a striker who is coming from a league that we don't tend to have good luck in when it comes to signing attackers. Let's see what we got. I just want to get caught up here. Danny says, I read Inter still own him. Yeah, they do. They do. And they'll get him back if they can't pay. So we'll see. Jay says, I hope Shesko does if he comes, but really I'm unsure. Yeah, I'm definitely unsure, but I'll back him for sure. You guys know we always back the players. Box says, Isak had same exact stats as Shesko, is same age. Newcastle spent 70 million on him. Well, was Isak at Sociedad better or worse or the same as Shesko at Leipzig? Because that's what you got to compare it to. You can't compare it to Isak that we've seen at Newcastle. And quite frankly, if you did, he's levels ahead. Dylan? Did you watch a lot of Isak when he was at Sociedad?
No, I didn't. I just remember seeing he was on our transfer list for a while, and I just saw
Yeah,
he had some good abilities. I was like, we could take a flyer on him, but I can't
yeah.
remember what season that was. Yeah, I was like, well, I guess we didn't get him, but whatever.
I
He's going to
remember him.
Newcastle.
Yeah, I remember him at Dortmund. I remember at Sociedad, just this kind of gangly, skinny
Yep.
little, just running around, causing problems. Newcastle, he's really found his groove.
Yep.
So yeah, the real comparison box would be to compare him at this Leipzig Sesko and that Sociedad Isaac and see. But I think Isaac has already shown he's way ahead better. So
Yep.
Rich, I'm starting to think maybe you don't rate Hoyland. Maybe I'm misreading it. Maybe I'm just reading. Maybe that's me just kind of misinterpreting. I don't know. You have to correct me if I'm wrong there. But I'm starting to think you don't rate him too highly.
Just a guess.
Raja says Hoyland would be great if he goes to Leverkusen. Remember, there was that report that came out today that Leipzig might want Hoyland and we could offer him. So you guys are funny. Agile says Isaac was about a 1-3 at Sociedad. Well, 1-3 for scoring for and everything is not horrible. Conversion rates around 30% or almost elite level conversion rates. So I don't know what his conversion rate was. I don't look that far back. He's not a United player, so it is what it is. Yeah, Jay, I've said a lot of this stuff in the past about Hoyland. Unfortunately for me, it's gotten to the point where Hoyland, and maybe you can give me your thoughts on this too, Dylan, where it's not that he's young and he's still got learning. Now it's just he's like almost regressed when it comes to the basics of being a striker.
He looked like he had regressed last year in terms of some of the things we saw in the first season, making the runs, positioning. It seemed off last year.
Yeah.
And I know part of it wasn't getting a lot of service. He was pressing, he was trying to do better. But that just exacerbated over the season and to where the regression you could notice it more.
Well, kudos for using the word exacerbated too. Yeah, no, and I agree with you, Jay. He was signed. He was young. He shouldn't have been the starting striker for us. He was in a new league, and I think that people don't give him enough credit for what he did that first season coming in a new league, for the goals he scored and things. The Champions League as well. I think that we really should have gotten someone older for him to kind of rotate in with and see what he's about. I don't think we've helped him either in the way we've played. He's not a back to goal, hold up the ball, Giroud kind of striker. As we even saw in the preseason game the other day, he wants to run into space. He's a Jamie Vardy. He's not an Olivier Giroud. Now, just because he's big, that's not how that looks. So,
which, like you keep saying, if we got Vardy in as a striker coach because he's available, that would be something he could learn to play that position, and I think he'd benefit a lot from it. So he would need somebody to learn from it. He just didn't get that first season, second season here, which is, as we've seen, kind of led to some of his regression because he didn't get that ability to learn and grow and take some of the pressure off. So
now, Rich, I agree that young players can get better, but we're here talking about a young player that you also have already given up on, who is literally the same age as Sesko, and you don't think that Hoyland's getting any better. So I'm just kind of being fair. I'm kind of pointing it out here. Because Sesko could come in and he could flop. He could do a Sancho coming from decent in the Bundesliga and then come to the Premier League and not do well. He could have peaked like Hoyland. I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like, it's never a guarantee. He can get better. He can get worse. It is what it is. Watkins, he is what he is. We know what we're getting with Watkins. And I'm not saying either way. I just don't want to pay what the asking price is for either of these players. I would rather spend more on a midfielder and go get someone like an Arokadere or something, but it is what it is. It's not me. So Raja says, do strikers peak at different times, or is there an age? It just depends. I would say on average, it's usually like mid to like 26, 27, but you could be like a Jamie Vardy who peaks later, or Gyökeres who kind of peaked he's peaking now at like 26, 27. You could be an Erling Haaland who was already doing it as a teenager. It just depends on the player and the career path they're taking. You want to really make sure you have a good fit, that you're getting good opportunities and good systems and coaches who are going to work with you. So Sophie Jameson, welcome to the channel. Why do all hate United? You can't blame him for last season. He was playing in front of Garnacho, who's greedy as hell. That's another factor. Yeah, Garnacho is not really the most selfless player. We lost when Licha got injured. Hoyland's service dipped a lot. A lot of those passes that are going to be breaking the lines are going to come through your wider center backs, as we've seen Fredrickson do. You see Aiden Heaven do. We saw Licha do. it's where you're going to get a lot of that service from. And so I think everybody shares a little bit of responsibility there. Hoyland's got his share. We have our share. The players, his teammates have their share as well. So it is what it is. But yeah, Jay, some people do. I've tried to be objective with Hoyland. You guys know I defended him to the hilt. And to me, it's not even that I don't think he can improve. If we had an older striker, maybe he could still rotate. I just think the writing's almost on the wall. But we'll see. At the end of the day, I always want my players to do well. I always want them to improve. I always want them to get better. I'm going to criticize them when necessary, when appropriate, but I try to be as objective as I can. I know that makes me boring. I'm sorry that I'm not like freaking out on camera like some other YouTubers. That's just not me. So I'll do that in person when we're watching the games. Like when we score and I try to escape Bill's house, but I can't get out because the child lock is on the screen door. That was the most.
I forgot about that.
I was literally like standing there shaking it. Like, what is wrong with me? It's like, Bill, your door's broken. It's like, child locks on. Like, whatever. Let's see. I'm gonna keep going. I'm gonna keep scrolling. You guys are kind of doing your thing, so. I'll point this one out because it makes me look good. Danny says Hoyland definitely regressing, getting worse. Now, here's what I'll say. And you notice I was very specific. I was very careful to say this. I said last year he regressed. I'm not going to be so quick to say that he's regressing and it's going to be a permanent trajectory. Last season, he did regress. There's every chance he could turn it around. There's every chance that could be United. There's every chance it could be someplace else. We don't know. But the point is now, he's still young, yes, as people say. He still has to develop. Are we at a place right now that we can afford to wait for that? We can afford to wait. I mean, with Cunha and Mbeumo, maybe it won't matter as much, but I wouldn't say no to a bigger striker. Scoring goals was a big issue for us last year. Cunha and Mbeumo combined last year scored just 9 goals less than we did all season as a club. That's not okay. Like, that's not okay. There should have been alarms going off in the recruitment boardroom when we saw that at the end of the day. So we do need goals. Whether or not that's striker, whether or not that's the 10s, we got goals. Because it wasn't just Hoyland that was failing to put these chances away. It was everybody. Everybody was shit last year in front of goal. It just is what it is. So Hoyland was a part of it, but a lot of everybody else was as well. So, let's see. Sophie says, I rate Hoyland myself. Quick, strong, just needs some guidance. And like you said, he was forced too early in his career. Don't want to see him leave. I had high hopes for Hoyland. I mean, we paid a little more than we wanted to. Not his fault. It is what it is. So it is. You guys are just having a good old time up here. Gary says, anybody who thinks Rasmus Hoyland is good enough to be the number 9 for Man United needs to pack it in. It's not personal. We just have eyes. He's definitely not good enough right now. But, I don't think that was ever the plan. He's just turned 22 a couple months ago. Yeah. We got him when he was, 20 years old. When was the last time we had a 20-year-old leading the line for us at Manchester United? Like, it just doesn't happen. So, all right. So, yeah, Sevilla, Lucien Agume, who knows? Goalkeeper situation, kind of up in the air. Senny Laman's links have kind of gone quiet. I saw a report yesterday that Binder actually would need to leave before we can do anything with goalkeepers. So, and then all this stuff has come out these last couple of days that we're favorites for Gianluigi Donnarumma, which I'm still not quite fully convinced by that. The report I saw was from Corriere dello Sport, not the most reliable source. I'm trying. It's hard. I think a lot of football fans do this, and I'm guilty of this sometimes as well. Sometimes it's easy when we see a report and it's a player we don't rate. It's easy to just automatically say, "Well, I don't believe it's true." I try to be objective. I'm a human being, so I'm going to have a little bit of bias here and there. I'm going to have some cognitive dissonance. It's going to happen. But you guys remember, I've been saying this about the Donnarumma stuff since there was all that contract talk between him and PSG after they won the Champions League. That it did. Looking at his contract situation, look at his low wages comparatively speaking, it did feel a little bit like agent talk at the time. And I still feel that way. So it's not me pivoting. It's not me flip-flopping. Bill, where you sit on Donnarumma?
Not going to happen. We were kind of talking a little bit about this beforehand. And we both agreed it seems like it's a contract negotiation tactic. Well, if you're not going to pay me, United will, because we always get thrown in at everything.
Yeah, Sergio
So
Ramos. Right?
yeah, so it's just that's what it seems like to me. There's no way we're going to get Donnarumma.
I just don't think he's all that great, to be
Yeah.
honest. Like I keep looking at his percentiles and stuff, and last year was definitely not a great year for him. He had goals against. So again, goals against doesn't really isn't just down to the keeper. Goals against is down to everything. So goals against, he was in the top 12%, but literally the only other thing he was above average in was crosses stopped, and that was just a 61%. So still above average, but it's not good enough for me. I don't buy it. I'm not saying he's bad. It's just there's better keepers out there right now. I like Andre Lunin, better keeper. Sen Lammens,
Mhm.
better right now. So just not convinced what it is. So it is what it is. Gary says looking more likely for Lamans. That's my hope is Lamans. We sounds like we do need to clear some room though. Again, we have a lot of players. I know people confuse like having a lot of players who are good enough with having. We have a lot of bodies in the club, taking up wages, taking up spots in the roster. We need to clear some of these players out. We need to clear. We've got a whole midfield situation. We've got 3 strikers at the club right now. Technically, if you want to throw Xerxes up there, a lot of defenders, a lot of midfielders, a lot of goalkeepers. We have a lot of players. We've got a lot of fullbacks. Like we've got Leon, Dorgu, Amas, Dallo, Ahmad, Mazraoui. Like we have a lot of players in this squad. Like it's becoming a bit of a problem. So we got to do something to get some of these players out of here. Let's see. Yeah, Andrea says Romano said there's no conversations at the moment with PSG or Donovan. Yeah, I don't think that. Yeah, this is why I don't think there's anything going on. I think this is just let's try to get him out of here. Says PSG did get. They're looking like they got Chevalier, so it is what it is. Let's see. Sophie says you guys we don't need goalkeeper. We got best keeper in the world,
That's
Tom
right.
Heaton.
That's right. We got Tom.
Tommy Tom, get your heat on. I like it. Jay says, I like players who love the club with a passion, wants to
Yes.
win. I like that too. I'm not too naive to think that every player who signs is like a lifelong United fan. Like it just is what it is. So, but it doesn't matter to me if you're a fan as long as you play for the club, and I'm happy with that. If you're not a merc, so we're good. Any thoughts on keepers before we move on here?
Now we've talked about it before. I'm all in for Laman since we're not going to get Lunin. It doesn't look like.
Yeah.
Lunin was my first choice, but Laman's I'm good. So
Is it raining? It's like raining
it's just
outside.
about to. It's getting dark at my house here.
Raining here. It's getting darker here, son. So
Okay.
let's talk about wingers. Somebody mentioned Garnacho. So we saw reports last week that Saudi clubs were maybe interested in Anthony. His agent basically confirmed that as well, that there's some Saudi clubs that were expressing interest. Word on the street is, though, that Anthony has rejected Saudi offers, and he's also reportedly rejected offers from Sao Paulo and Botafogo. Apparently, he only wants Real Betis. Go tell him to pay up then, big man, because it's not going to
Mm-hmm.
happen unless they pay up. I don't think we're getting 50 million for him, which is the asking price that people said. I just don't see that happening.
No.
If we get anything, like, what would it take for you to be like, bye, Felicia?
30.
Yeah.
If we get around 30, I'm good with that. Just
Yeah.
go.
I don't care how well he did for Albertis. I really
Yeah.
don't care. Just get him gone, get him out of here, so
Yep.
we can just keep going down the line, man. It's ridiculous. So yeah, Real Betis, just pay up. Just pay up, man.
So
It's
if
ridiculous.
you go down to Box's quote on Anthony there, it's like just starting to piss you off. That's it. Just I've been
Yeah.
pissed off for a while now.
I don't have anything personal against Anthony. Unlike
No.
Garnacho or Sancho or Rashford, he didn't do anything necessarily to draw the ire of fans. He's just not good enough.
Yeah. Well, he did for me when he wouldn't go play left back and he bitched about it. Like that to me frustrated me. But that's just me.
Yeah, Box makes a good point. Why limit yourself to Betis? Sometimes, he likes if they treated him well, the fans love him. If you felt like it was a good fit, I mean, it just is what it is. Why did Harry Kane stay at Spurs for so long when he wasn't going to win anything? It's some players just feel at home, and for some players, that is important. That is a priority for them, and I think Anthony has shown that he could do a job at Betis, and he likes them. So I don't have a problem with it. They just need to pay. So
Mm-hmm.
Samuel, welcome back. Samuel says Atletico Madrid should sign Anthony. I don't think he's good enough for Atletico Madrid, personally. Maybe, I mean, he would go ahead.
I was just I don't. I think he's got the spirit, but I don't necessarily think he's got the physicality
Yeah, I don't
for
think he can
for that
hang.
system. So
Yeah. Ben Jacobs claims that Chelsea are pushing to sign Garnacho. He adds that we want at least 40 million, which I think is a complete piss take.
it's too low. That's so low.
Surely that's got to be at least 50
Anthony
million.
Alonga went for 55,
Yeah.
and Garnacho. Yes, come on now. That's
Chelsea paid 55 for Bino Gittins.
yeah,
And let's not forget how much Todd Bowley paid for Mikhailo Mudryk not that
yeah,
long ago
yeah.
either.
Literally,
Like, that was a complete shambles, by the way. But 40 million for Garnacho is a piss take. It's an
yep.
absolute piss take, personally. And here's the what would you want him to join Chelsea? Would you be fine with that?
No, no, I
Are
wouldn't.
you're one of those guys, huh?
Yeah, I don't want to strengthen a rival. That's the worst thing you could do. I want Chelsea to suffer.
I'm gonna throw this out here because my ego likes to be stroked here. Sean, I like how you talk about us. You're not biased at all, just fair points. It's a good trait to have as a football streamer. Well, that makes me feel better, Jay, because I feel like sometimes I can be seen as boring because I don't go. I'm not like a bipolar streamer. I'm not trying to be judgmental. It's just I'm not that way on camera because I'm not that way in real life. And Dylan can probably attest to that. Like I do try to be pretty objective when it comes to this kind of stuff. I'm willing to, if a stat or something proves me wrong, like I'll hold my hands up. It is what it is. But I also try not to make these kind of big statements, these absolute statements on a lot of things when it comes to footballers. So that's why I like looking at Hoyland. I said he regressed. And don't say that he's regressing because to me those are very different things. So, but I appreciate that, Jay. Big up, man. Love love the confidence. And the reason here, a little bit about me. The reason I'm trying to make a point to be. It's not about, as much as I joke, it's not about me giving myself praise. It's me trying to make a point to learn how to accept compliments because I'm not very good at that. Because I've just never been very good at that. So
I get you.
I do it more to show my appreciation for the kind words, Jay. So big up, you guys. Make sure you're liking that video and subscribing if you love Jay being a nice guy. So big up, Jay.
Big up, Jay.
Agile says, tell Chelsea to take a hike. Take a hike to a hotel that they've sold to themselves.
Yep.
Same as Villa should just sign Garnacho and Harry Maguire and Mason. I'll just sign them all. Yeah, I think Garnacho
You okay with that?
for Villa, but so Dylan, you're one of these people who's like, I don't want them to join rivals.
Yeah.
Okay.
100%. That just doesn't it rubs me the wrong way. So
you think Garnacho's good enough that he'll help Chelsea even against us in the future?
there's the possibility, which is something I don't want to take. The other thing is I don't necessarily think he's going to play as much as he thinks he's going to. They've done some strengthening there, and I get the feeling his attitude is going to lead him down the wrong path there.
You've got Bino Gittins, you've got Neto, right? Pedro Neto. Because they got rid of Madueke. He went to Arsenal.
Yep.
I don't remember who else they have on. Is Mudryk done? Like, is he just done for
Pretty
good?
much, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Again, not my club, so I don't pay that close attention to that kind of stuff. And honestly, I can't keep track of who Chelsea have. They seem like they keep buying players and selling them a year or two later.
Revolving door at that club. So
and I don't understand. Like, I just don't get it, man. I really don't. It's like I don't understand how they should be allowed to do that stuff, man. Gary says, "Imagine valuing Nicholas Jackson at 100 million. Meatloaf needs to be sectioned." Yeah. Bowley, man, Todd B just does not care. He just walks in there and makes it rain, dude. He just does not care. And he says, this hotel, we're just gonna sell it. It's cool.
Yep.
Agile says 80 for Jackson, the 30 they want to offer us for Garnacho. Is it piss take? Yeah, it is an absolute piss take. Yeah, you're right. They do owe us for Mount too. Box says Garnacho will be a great Atletico Madrid buy. So do Atletico Madrid still play with a 3-5-2?
I don't actually know.
Because I know Simeone switched to that a few years back, and he got a little bit more possession-oriented.
Yeah.
Can't remember now. I don't watch a lot of La Liga these days. G-Wolf, big up, G-Wolf. Welcome, man. Sean, you talk a lot more sense than some people, but having different views is a good thing. Yeah. Having different views is I say that to clients all the time, man. Perspective is one of the best things you can have in life because everything's always going to look the same if you look at it from one angle. It's good to have conversations. It's good to be open-minded. It's good to be humble. The reason they put sculptures in museums where you can walk around them. We did I was at a counseling conference once. This is gonna be a very boring story. But it was the seminar I was in for was for couples counseling, and so the guy who was leading it had two people come up, a guy and a girl, and he had one of them stand against the wall but facing the wall, and he had the other one stand back to back facing the room. And the whole point was he asked them both what can they see, and the whole point was you guys are in the relatively similar spot, but your perspective is completely different. And that's just a metaphor for perspective. So Sterling's still there. Oh boy, talk about English wingers who just overhyped. Grealish, Rashford, Sancho, Sterling. What is it with English wingers, man? Interesting. Send Garnacho there to cause them problems. Yeah. The legendary G Wolf has arrived.
Hold on, that could be a good idea.
Yeah, right. We're gonna send him a mole. We're gonna a secret agent. We'll still pay you a little bit on the slide. City do it all the time. We'll ask City for tips on how to pay people under the table. We'll ask them who their brown envelope supplier is. Send them over there, secret agent, little sabotage action. I like it. This is like a James Bond movie, dude. Big up, G Wolf, though, man. Good to see you, man. Mm-hmm. Red Devils. Rich says Watkins versus Sesko, divided opinions quite a lot. Yeah, and that's why I literally did a whole video on that last week. Watkins versus Sesko. Like, I broke down everything. I feel like we've been talking about it to death, though, man. It's literally the Gyökeres stuff all over again, man. I'm running, like Rich, you can probably attest. I'm running out of thumbnails. I'm running out of photos to use, man. You can only, like with Gyökeres, you can only do so many of these before you start running out. So, just getting caught up on the chat here. G Wolf wants McTominay back. Justin's crying somewhere. So 40 million for Garnacho, absolute piss take. Let's talk about Luke Shaw for a hot second before we wrap things up. So,
oh crap, he got hurt again. No, I'm kidding.
Probably pulled something given this interview. So Luke Shaw had some comments recently. This is what he had to say. I'll go through the slides here. So he's talking a little bit about Amorim, the changes, what's been going on. He said, it's not hard to see from the outside what it's been like. A lot of the time I've been here over the last few years, it's been extremely negative. It can be quite toxic, the environment. It's not healthy at all. There are no stragglers in this group anymore. Ruben's mentality, his demands, he's extremely tough on the group. He leaves no stone unturned. Everyone has to put the team first. He's made that very clear. Mentality is a big thing on his lips. Ruben demands 100%. If someone's doing 85 to 90%, it's not good enough for him. You've seen what he's done in the past 8 months with different players. So Shaw basically throwing shade here a little bit. No stragglers in this group anymore. Who are the stragglers, Dylan? Who are the toxic personalities?
I wonder who. Not that we haven't talked about those couple already a few times, but it's pretty straightforward. We know who the toxic personalities were. But you know what? I do think he's probably right on that because they're not there on the tour right now. So you're not going to have that different mentality. You're not going to have those individuals going to badmouth everything. So you probably do have a more positive locker room, but is that going to carry over?
Does Shaw have room to talk? So Agile Beast doesn't seem to think so.
I mean, to a degree, but he gets hurt so much. Like that's part of it. Like I can't say he doesn't have a point with some of the medical stuff, but it's like we haven't been able to depend on him in a few years now. So
yeah, and
hopefully he can turn that around. Hopefully everybody's buying in.
Yeah, he did say something else I didn't put aside. He did also say, like, I let Ten Hag down as well. A lot of us let Ten Hag down. So he was able to kind of hold his hands up in that regard. To be fair to Shaw, this 22-23 season was a thing of beauty, but hasn't, and he can't help the injuries. Like, I don't understand people who get mad at players when they're injured. Like, I can write him off as pretty much not being part of the squad on the simple fact that he's not fit, but can't blame someone for being injured. It is what it is. Ridwan, welcome back. Luke? Who are you? David Cato, welcome to the channel, guys. A lot of new faces. Make sure you're getting that subscribe button up, you guys. If we do get to 3K before the first match of the season against Arsenal, before that first kickoff, I'll let it go until that opening whistle. I will do a giveaway, you guys. Brand new 25-26 shirt of your choosing, name, number. If you want to care about cut patch on it, cool. I don't know why I only want to do that, but I'll do it for you. But we have to get to 3K before the season starts. That's the only way to get it done. So, but big up, says Sesko, yes. But listen to me. I'm listening. Our midfield is empty. The weakest in the Premier League. That's why we're always struggling against every team. Need a pacemaker in midfield, else it can be painful. I mean, Morten Hillman's right there, you guys. Lucien Igume right there, you guys. These are the players, like, maybe, I've always said, maybe spend big on a midfielder or two. Could have got Hackney and Lennon Miller for like 25 million tops. Could have had excellent midfield duo for the next 10 years. Could have take a punt on a Rocadere. Could have got a new keeper. Could have went in Andre Lunin. I should be director of football at this club, you guys. This is basically what I'm saying, is I should have been director of football. But big up, David. You're preaching to the choir. A lot of us.
I'm going to post signs around Manchester to have them sign you as the DOF. So.
Bring some copies of my CD with me and slide them under some of the doors.
That's right.
So. Fox said, "Why is he throwing shade at Evans? He's funny." You guys are funny. Agile says he's been hanging around since 2014. Yeah, I knew Danny was going to pop up and agree with you, David. Yeah, midfield definitely for me. I think that we definitely can do with an upgrade there for sure. Problem is, it's hard. Casemiro's not going anywhere. Mainu should not be starting week in, week out yet, and he's not bad. He's young. Collier, probably not going to be it, unfortunately. Bruno, wrong side of 30 now these days, even though he is class. Ugarte, jury's still out. I don't think Ugarte's bad. He can't be the only guy that we rely upon at this moment until he adds a few more strings to his bow. He looked good the other day in the friendly, but need to see more from Ugarte. So we will see. Codman says, "Glory, glory, man United." Big up, Codman. New to the channel, new face. Love it. Loving all the new faces, man. Jay says, if Sesko flops for us, we wasted 140 million on two flop strikers, Sesko and Hoyland. Why not help what we have now with experience? I mean, again, I've said this about Sesko. You're spending only on potential. That's only what you're spending the money on, and that is for me, it's a big risk to take. It could go really well. It could go horribly. It's just, you never know with any transfer. It's going to happen. It is what it is. Nicolas Pepe, anybody know where he's playing these days? I couldn't tell you where he's playing these days. It's just the way it is sometimes. G-Wolf just wants solidarity and togetherness. Rock on, brother. I appreciate that. Agile says, we could still get Lennon Miller. My dad's side of the family is from well, go do your work then, Agile. Get it done. I want secret agent Agile out there getting this done, man. It's the Lord's work you're doing, man. Go do it. I love me some Lennon Miller. If we could have been a cheeky bid from him, get Hackney. That's a Ferguson duo of midfield all day. Lennon Miller and Hayden Hackney. I'm just getting caught up here, Dylan, in the chat here. So
no, you're good,
man. You guys are basically having a little conversation with yourselves. Big Gamble, Tesco, Danny. We have to come up with a different nickname for Sesko because you're disparaging the good name of Tesco, and I can't have that on my channel. People says, as I said, don't care if someone comes in support him, but I don't give who. Yeah, we'll always back the players if they try. That's my caveat. You got to try. You can't just stroll around, pulling out of challenges, not turning up to training on time and whatnot. Calling yourself scapegoated. Rich thinks McTominay was underrated. I think McTominay was not used. If we had played a 4-3-3 and McTominay was an 8, like you see him doing at Napoli, totally different ball game. The problem is a big problem was the position that we played him in and McTominay's limitations as a player in that position. Get him in some space, get him on the ball, and let him get on the run. You've seen what he can do at Napoli. Get him out of the Old Trafford spotlight, right? What do you think was the biggest issue for McTominay? Like, did you think there was no issue that we just let him down and we just needed money, or do you think that Dylan, this wasn't a good fit?
Yeah, no, I think the formations we were using didn't necessarily fit him perfectly. As we're looking at Napoli,
yeah,
he's doing much better. It was one of those times like 100% a United player through and through, gave everything he could, ran for every blade of grass on there. But it was just one of those things. If he was playing a few years with Sir Alex, he probably would have been one of those guys that comes in and does a job. Probably doesn't start every time, but he'll give you 100%. And he had the United mentality. I would have loved to keep him. I did want to keep him, but things happen.
Yeah.
So we failed him a little bit. His passing was never the best, but
Yeah.
he could pick a pass here and there. Positioning was a suspect at times, but he like I said, he would give you 110% of everything he had, and that's for that United group. That was something that we sorely lacked. That he really added to the squad, and you cannot buy that. That's something you work with. So, and that's something
Yeah.
you build. So,
I
kudos to
think,
Scott. Kudos to everything that he's doing down at Napoli because McSauce deserves it. So,
yeah, I think any manager would probably give a lot to have 11 players of McTominay's mentality on the pitch. I think that's something,
mhm.
like you said, you can never ever say. Like when he left, the mentality in that on the pitch instantly dropped several levels. It's unfortunate that
Yeah,
in a
yep,
double pivot is one of the sixes in a delicate part of the pitch. He didn't show for the ball. He wasn't super composed. He couldn't really pass, and he wasn't super press resistant. But get him some space, let him get the ball at his feet, and he can do a lot. And he caused a lot of problems in the opposition box for us. So I think it's both. I did a video on McTominay last month. Were we wrong to sell him? You guys can go watch that if you want to hear some of what I thought and maybe come to your own conclusions. But like Danny says, he was never played in his proper position. Yeah, Napoli in Conte really showed you what McTominay is about, and I think they got the best out of him. Unfortunately, we just didn't play that system. Not the right manager, not the right
yeah,
time. So it is what it is.
yep.
G Wolf says McTominay was total shit for us. Only a handful of good games. Yikes! Oh boy, it's harsh. That is harsh. Um, Yikes! I'm just getting caught up down here. You guys are funny. Yeah, box Sancho is probably the biggest flop for us in the last 12 years, for sure.
Oh yeah,
Absolutely, for sure.
12
He's like,
seems low. It's probably a long time before that.
yeah. Danny says glad he's gone.
No.
Didn't really track back and losing his marker. I think the footballing IQ too was a little bit limited for McTominay. And I think just the reading of the game and stuff. Just he was. I'm not saying he was an idiot, but just there were levels, and I think that you relied on McTominay for something, you rely on Bruno for other things, and I think that that's just the difference. So
Yeah.
it is what it is. So yeah, these toxic personalities, they're rooting out the system, changing the culture. Ten Hag tried to do this. He got called a bully for it. Amorim did this at Sporting. This is one of the first things he did. This was always going to be a big part of the rebuild, kind of cleansing the dressing room, totally changing the culture, kind of raising those standards, and everybody kind of on an equal footing as far as that responsibility and accountability is concerned. You guys all agreed. I did a poll last month in one of the streams. What was the biggest problem? What was the biggest task going into this window? Most of you voted for clearing the deadwood, kind of getting that under control. So, in the toxicity is a part of that. So, interesting that Shaw kind of put that out there. So we'll see. Again, like you and I were talking before the stream, it's easy to do this when you've got a camera in front of your face, looking at you, Barada, looking at you,
Yeah.
Big Jim Ratcliffe, looking at you now, Luke Shaw. It's easy to do this. Like it's easy to do that Sancho talking all that good shit on social media, and then you just go missing at Chelsea. Again, I say this to people. This kind of like a motto for me when it comes to situations like this. If you couldn't use your words, how could I tell that you mean what you say? That's what I need to see from Shaw. It's cool to say one thing, do your talking on the pitch, basically. Um,
Yep.
what are you guys saying? Rich says we didn't exactly kick on when we sold McTominay, did we? Well, there was I think there's a lot going on at the club. I think McTominay. No one's saying McTominay was a problem. I don't think anyone's saying that. I think a big part of it was sacrificial lamb in terms of getting players in. We were in a bit of a sell to buy situation last season, and McTominay was just someone who represented a lot of profit, and so it is what it is at the end of the day. I think Ten Hag liked him. I just think Ten Hag was told like you can't do anything else, and if we sell a player, so it is what he scored a lot of important goals for Ten Hag.
Hmm.
So oh boy, just getting caught up here. Buck says Barada's struggling now. He hasn't got an open checkbook like at City. Well, again, it's going to be a slow process. I think we have to keep reminding ourselves that anybody thought we were going to be getting back up in the top four this season needs to maybe go pump the brakes a little bit. So, You guys are funny. Is Rashford a flop? I don't know if Rashford's a flop. I just don't think he was as good as maybe we thought he could be, unfortunately. So, um, any last thoughts on Shaw's comments, Dylan?
No, I think we summed it up pretty good.
Yeah,
Yeah, I just want to see him, if that's the mentality you have, show us on the pitch. First game, Arsenal. It's a big match. Let's, a
yeah,
draw, if that's the way you're going to go into that, draw is at the very minimum then.
yeah,
Okay. Because I think a lot of us before these comments would be happy with the draw, but if that's how you're going to go in, you're gunning for this, then draw is the minimum. You have to go out and win it.
yeah. I would love
And
us to
if they
start the
show
season
up and
strong.
play like shit, then we
Yeah.
know, then we know they're not in it.
If
But
we could start the
anyway,
season strong
sorry.
with a good result against Arsenal, I would be super, super thrilled. But it is what it is. But before that, we've got some friendlies, including tonight. We play Bournemouth tonight, who did beat Everton 3-0 the other day in their friendly in this Premier League summer series. So friendly by any other name. You guys know how I feel. Bournemouth weren't even great in that match. Everton were just shit. So regardless, it is a Premier League side, so it's a decent test for both clubs. Amram's sort of been taking these friendlies a little bit seriously in terms of his minutes. He's not making wholesale 11 changes at halftime and stuff. He's been given starting 11 a decent amount of minutes. Someone just asked a question. I want to make sure Jay says, do I rate Kone? I highly rate Kone. My next point was literally I'd love to see Kone get some minutes tonight because I rate Kone very highly. And we saw that he was maybe going to go on loan to Lausanne Sport, the club that Ineos own. But seems like that has been put on the back burner because apparently he's impressed Ruben Amorim and the coaching staff during this preseason training. And so I'm not saying he's ready for the first team, but he's definitely maybe better than a Lausanne Sport. But I'd love to see what he can do against Premier League side, even if it is a friendly. But you guys know I love the academy. I love what the academy is doing. I did get to go to a FA Youth Cup match this past season with Justin. Hopefully, when the schedule arrives hopefully this week, Dylan, we can see if there's any academy matches that we
Yeah,
can go
that'd
to
be
in
cool.
September. So
I'd like
I
to go.
love, yeah, it's great. I love going to see the youngsters play. It's a good time. But I do rate Coney. I don't know if he's quite ready yet, but he's a really good player. We did some watch alongs on the academy a couple times this season, and he's played. He's looked really, really good. Gets about the pitch, does a lot. So Gary says, Dylan, give us the scoop. Are you signing for Wrexham?
I can confirm nor deny what we're gonna do. Oh, you guys couldn't see that, but Hollywood FC has talked to me, so
Yeah.
I've gotten some calls from Ryan Reynolds. So
Poll question: How many people are going to stop us in December and think that you're Christian Eriksen or asked to take a photo with you?
oh, I'm hoping it's over 50.
Could get some free
I'm
drinks out of it. You never know,
that's what I'm going for. I gotta get my Danish phrases down.
dude. If you just wear just an Adidas tracksuit or something and just kind of walk around a little bit, some people might.
Oh
It's
yeah,
gonna be funny. It's gonna be hilarious. Bach says, I prefer Coney to Sheffield United, Leicester, Southampton, Middlesbrough. Yeah, I think he could do a job. I'd like to see what he can do. So Jay says, yeah, we have such a good academy. The future is bright. If they do well, we promote them up. We have probably the strongest academy I've seen since the early 90s, honestly.
hmm
It's at all different levels because even if you go down to like JJ Gabriel, the guys literally played a U16 match, turned around the very next day and played an under 18s match and dominated both times. Like, he's so good. Um, you guys are funny. You guys are having a conversation with yourselves, so I'm not going to interrupt, but that is going to be it from us. I think we pretty much wrapped it up. Dylan, score predictions for this friendly tonight?
we're going to be working through some things, still trying to get pacing down. I think we're going to get a goal probably from. I'm gonna say Cunha is going to get one.
Okay.
Let's see if that. I don't have any Scandinavian, unfortunately. Agile Beast. Um, just the German, English,
Yeah,
okay, and French Canadian, oddly enough.
interesting.
But I think Cunha's going to get one. But I think we're going to be working on too much. We're going to get the youngsters in. Bournemouth probably win 2-1. But
Yeah.
it's like we've talked about friendlies. You're trying to get minutes. You're trying to learn the pacing and where everybody's going to be. And I'm as long as we start to put things together, I'm good with it. So
Gary says 3-1 United. Danny says Rasmus hat trick. If Rasmus scores a hat trick, like, the Ineos aren't signing a striker. Oh boy, if Rasmus scores a hat trick, just brace yourself. 21 is coming. Tweets are about to happen. So It's ridiculous. Yeah. On the Trashford stuff, you'll never ever hear me call Marcus Rashford Marcus Rashford. I think that's, to me, I don't like that personally. You do what you got to do. I will call him Marcus Rushford though, because of the way the guy just runs out of space so many times, gets his head down, he rushes things, he doesn't make good decisions. Marcus
Yeah.
Rushford, I will call him that because he does make poor decisions. So but you all can talk about that. So you guys don't forget, it is 20% off right now in the United Everybody store for the next 5 days. So everything's 20% off, including the OG green and golds, the class of 92 shirts, the new Mbumo shirts. Go check those out. Please make sure you like, subscribe. I'm going to call this 2-0 Unite because Bournemouth, I don't think we're very good against. I think our defense is just better than Everton's defense personally, but it is what it is. They've got a lot of new players who are struggling. I forgot they signed Truefair to replace Kirkes as well. He looks pretty decent. I've always rated him, but we'll see what happens. But Dylan, final thoughts, everybody, before I let you get going.
Thanks again, everybody, for joining in. Remember, keep your eyes open to see where I sign in the summer. That's going to be important. But no, thanks, everybody. Hope you guys had a good time. Chat's been great. You guys still going. Love that. So yeah, have a good night, everybody. Hopefully, you're all doing well. So.
Yes, thank you guys. Yes, do have a good night. Thank you, everyone, for getting involved in the chat and checking this poll. So 79% of you are still taking Sesko over everybody else. 4% of you voted for Hoyland for Golden Boot. So some of you need to go get a CAT scan. Anyway, take it easy, guys. It's a great show, as always. It's mostly because of everybody besides me, because I'm just here to throw out the topics. You guys this is your channel. You guys make it what it is. So thank you, everybody. Big up yourselves. Like, subscribe, check the memberships to learn how you can get more involved. Appreciate you guys. Take it easy. Enjoy the rest of your night. Peace.